What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 88 with Mikel, and
And Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So, we're going to do a special episode on April Fool's Day. I
And
know,
April Fool's Day today.
so we did one last year. I think we were just like, I don't know, can't remember the episode. I think we were just goofing around.
Yeah, I don't really remember
Or
what we did.
I think we did the origins of April. Yeah, we did
Kind of. I think
April
we did
Fool's.
like a mini
Yeah,
origin of it. Yeah.
yeah. This is this will probably be like a little short one as well. So
hmm
yeah. So do you want to describe what this episode will be about, Tanyka?
Sure. So this April Fool's episode, we're basically going to be talking about the best and the cringiest pranks that occurred in 2024, so last year. Um, so someone awesome did an article of all the things that happened. Guess that was kind of put out there on the internet. So we're gonna be kind of just going through the list of things that happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so basically a lot of these have to do with companies that was kind of doing different things that happened, which I didn't see much of this. Um, so we're kind of just gonna go through that. So Tinder's VP um, of ghosting was one of them. Um, so apparently, I guess Tinder pretended that they were potentially hiring people. So this says Tinder isn't hiring someone to track down matches who suddenly stopped responding. That's a good thing from the ghosters,
Mhm.
breadcrumb zombies, submariners, and slow faders among us, because avoiding uncomfortable conversations is probably what they're going for. So I guess that was kind of what was going on.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty a sucky prank. I guess that goes into the cringiest category. It's not very good, but I guess you do what you gotta do. Um, so another one, Waymo Grandma Mode. So in the clearly just for last video, Waymo, which I don't know what Waymo is. Have you heard of Waymo? Okay. I think it's something to do with, I don't know, we'll see if we can kind of fill in the gap here, but Waymo passengers step into an AV tricked out like grandma's house, complete with a crochet steering wheel cover, florals, and a geriatric lady's voice gently reminding them to buckle up. Wow. Okay. Ironically enough, Bloomberg deemed the alphabet-owned AV startup the grandma of robotaxis earlier this year. So I guess instead of having, it's kind of like I don't know. I guess it's just this car thing, I guess. So it was pimped out like grandma's house, which is, that's not my grandma's house,
Mhm.
but hey. um, so another one was SciShow's Living Pet Rocks. So SciShow claims, again, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a program or something. Claims it has tapped into the source fine for living pet rocks.
Mhm.
So I guess someone out here believes that there is a pet rock that is more than just a rock. So as one-time Dakota guest host Hank Green says in the video, it's clearly an April Fool's bit, but then he follows through with an announcement that you can pre-order a pet rock sticker collection from the SciShow merch shop. So it literally looks like a rock with googly eyes, and it's in like a crate, like a pet. So
Mhm.
I hope no one actually spent their money potentially or tried to on this pet rock. Anyways,
Mhm.
so there was another thing called Overwatch 2, which I again don't know what that is. I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm starting to realize I'm really old and don't know what things are. Um, so Overwatch 2, basically, um, it's April Fool's Day, so the googly eyes are back in Overwatch 2. I guess it's a game, despite kind of the look I'm seeing in the picture. So, complete with other extremely balanced adjustments. Life Weaver's platform goes way, way up now, and Mercy is armed and dangerous, plus some special challenges and sprays that players can earn. So, I guess the joke is the googly eyes. I don't know. Again, cringy. These ones
Mm,
kind of suck, which kind of goes to show maybe just don't bother. Like, I feel like April Fool's is just not, should just be ignored. It doesn't have to be a thing that every year should you do something
mm,
for April Fools. But anyways,
mm.
Blue Sky. I know Blue Sky. We actually have a Blue Sky
Yeah,
account. It's a
yeah,
social account. Um,
yeah.
so apparently I guess there was something going on with their shorts.
I thought you were talking about Blue Sky Market.
No, Blue Sky social media account. Um, so unlike every other app and service chasing the bouncing ball of vertical video, um, on top of uh we have like YouTube, Instagram, NBA, Amazon, Reddit, Twitch, Netflix, Spotify. Blue Sky's April Fool's contribution is actual shorts, at least assuming they get enough orders on custom ink to put the shipment through. But I'm not sure why Blue Sky CEO Jake Carver didn't mention this when she was a decoder. So I'm assuming Blue Sky, meaning Blue Sky, the social media is what I'm thinking. Just because it's had shorts in that. So I guess there's something going on. They don't have shorts
Mhm.
on Blue Sky. So I guess, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think neither does Threads either, unless you're going on Instagram.
no, Threads doesn't.
Mhm.
I don't think.
No.
I'm rarely ever on Threads, so I don't really know, but I don't think so. Um, but the best April Fool's prank they say in tech was actually Gmail.
Oh,
So,
okay.
20 years ago, nobody believed Google would give out a whole gigabyte of email storage for free. But like Sundar says, it was in fact not a joke. The rest is history. So I guess they tried to give away or say they were giving away a gigabyte of email storage for free, which no, they ain't.
Mm,
It's a lot. You don't get that for free. You get
yeah.
like, I don't know, you get a certain amount for free and then you have to pay
Mm,
for extra, which I never do, but yeah.
okay.
Um, then another one, which was last year, was this one. It's a gaming chair, the
Mm,
Razer. Um, so if the only problem with your gaming chair is that you ever have to get up, try Razer's Hulu, whatever
mm,
it's called.
mhm,
Apparently, it's equipped with 8 arms to grab hot pockets, shave your beard, and more, all with a 96.9% chance of the tentacles always listening to you.
mm,
It doesn't exist. That's the joke.
mhm, mhm,
Which, I mean, I guess if you are a gamer, you might fall for this.
mm.
Um, like my brother, he might fall for something like that. Okay, so we're gonna transition a little bit and do more of like serious pranks gone wrong, like pranks gone wrong that's turned into crimes gone wrong. So things you shouldn't do during April Fools, basically. Um, so this particular one, was going to go through a few of them. So on April 1st, 1992, a man claiming to be Richard Nixon told NPR he would be running for president. I'm not sure if Richard Nixon had another term at that time. I have no clue. Um, then added, quote, I never did anything wrong and I won't do it again. So I guess this is the man pretending to be Richard Nixon. Despite the date, thousands believed it was actually Richard Nixon announcing another bid for the presidency. Of course, it wasn't actually Nixon speaking, but that didn't stop the outrage, and many began gearing up to protest. So, if I'm correct with my American presidents in history, I think Richard Nixon was the one who was involved with Watergate. And I think I don't recall if he had a second term, but I think with the mess, obviously, with Watergate, which I think we have plans to talk about in a future episode. I honestly don't remember. Um, but it was bad. So I guess he didn't do a second term. I had no clue. But obviously, don't go out there impersonating anybody, especially a
Hmm.
president.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
yeah. Next. Turns out your favorite fast food chains have a history of pranks, as we kind of talked about, especially last year. We talked about that. And I think we did talk about this before, but I'll just talk about it briefly in case no one heard it or doesn't remember. On April 1st, 1998, Burger King announced it would now offer a version of the Whopper that had been carefully designed for left-handed folks. The joke was on Burger King, however, when stores across the country were flooded with orders for the left-handed Whopper. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't understand because you can hold the Whopper in any hand you choose, whether it's your left or your right.
Hmm.
Don't know how people fall for this. I really don't understand how people fall for this. I kind of remember this happening too. Like I would have been 7, but I kind of remember this.
Right.
Um, I don't know how anyone falls for that, but it's funny.
Hmm.
Um, So another one. In 2001, a DJ in England decided to prank his listeners on April 1st by broadcasting that a ship that looked suspiciously like the Titanic could be seen from the cliffs at Beachy Head in East Sussex. Hundreds of listeners believed him, trekking to the cliffs to catch a glimpse. Unfortunately, all the foot traffic caused a large crack in the cliff face, and a few days later, it fell into the sea. First of
Hmm.
all, people, I hate to tell you, but the Titanic is nowhere near England. I don't believe it. I think it, well, no, it wasn't in England. It was,
It
or was it?
was.
I don't know where actually it ended up sinking. I know the people who died are buried
Hmm.
in Halifax, but I'm not sure where they actually, where the ship went down. Um,
Hold on, give me.
well, we can hold off on it because we are doing an episode for Titanic in a few weeks. So we can hold off if, or we could answer the question now, doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't think it was in England though.
It was the North Atlantic Ocean.
So somewhere in that vicinity, which is obviously massive. Um,
Hmm.
but either way,
Yeah, south.
the
I think it's
Titanic
south.
is under the ocean. Um, not above, not on the surface where anyone can see it.
I think
So
it's southeast of Newfoundland.
that makes sense because I think that the bodies, like I said, I think they're in they're buried in Halifax, which would
Mm.
be nearby Newfoundland. I don't know if they're buried in Newfoundland. Maybe I'm incorrect with that, but I know it's in Canada. I know the bodies are in Canada on that side of Canada. Um, so, anyways, either
Mm.
way, like I think they were heading to England, but I don't think they made it, obviously. So,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they were traveling from New York to England.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, so yes, if anyone is claiming that they can see the Titanic or something that resembles the Titanic, um, they're pulling your leg. So anyway,
Hmm.
next. This is far from being a good April Fool's joke. So on April 1st, 2002, a couple of Kansas City DJs announced the local water supply had been found to contain high levels of dihydrogen monoxide, DHMO, whose side effects included sweating, urination, and skin pruning. I have no clue what skin pruning is, but it sounds horrible. Hundreds of citizens flooded the water department and the police with distressed phone calls. Too bad dihydrogen monoxide is actually H2O. Jesus.
Mhm.
Sorry. I mean,
Mhm.
when you're saying dihydrogen monoxide, that sounds bad. That sounds horrible, but it's just
Mhm.
water. Um, so it's the chemical name for water. The DJs were widely criticized, and one government official um, even accused them of terrorism. That's a stretch. In
Right.
2013, two Florida DJs, of course they're Floridian, two Florida DJs pulled the same prank. The resulting clamor got the DJs yanked off the air and nearly saddled with felony charges.
Mhm.
Only in Florida.
Mhm.
Next, for April Fools in 2003, a clothing store employee in Columbus, Ohio decided to call her boss and tell him that someone was robbing the store at gunpoint. Before she had time to call him back and confess to the prank, her boss had called the police. Four patrol cars pulled up to the store. The employee was arrested for inducing panic. And I'm going to say fired as well. Next. Sorry, you going to say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. On April 1st, 2010, a newspaper in Jordan ran an article claiming a UFO had landed near the town of I want to say Jafar, but I don't know if that's the right um, way to say it. It's no wonder this was a prank gone wrong, as the mayor of Jafar's responded by issuing an order to evacuate 13,000 people. Facing a potential lawsuit, the newspaper staff apologized publicly, saying that they, quote, meant to entertain, not to scare people. Well, if you're talking about UFOs, some people would gladly take that. Some other people, like moi, would freak out, think I'm going to get beamed up or something. Next, in 2013, Susan Tammy Hudson of Kingsport, Tennessee, called her sister on April 1st and said, quote, I shot my husband. I'm cleaning up the mess. Let's go bury him in Blackwater. This was a prank gone wrong because though Hudson may have thought she was being funny, no one else did. And soon the police showed up. No charges were pressed after Hudson's husband arrived home alive and well. Oh God. Next, a text prank is less elaborate than this one. In 1708, Gulliver's Travels and author Jonathan Swift set up an epic April Fool's prank by pretending to be an astrologer by the name of Isaac Bickerstaff. He published a set of predictions, the most notable of which was not a celebrity astrologer of the time, or was that of a celebrity astrologer of the time, John Partridge, would die on March 29th. On March 30th, Swift circulated an anonymous account of Partridge's death of fever. On April 1st, someone knocked on the Partridge's door to set up funeral arrangements. Partridge, of course, was alive and well, but for the rest of his life, he had to insist he was not dead. This is
Mm.
like this is like in today's world where you're hearing like a celebrity is dead, but they're not dead. Like Celine Dion's been killed like multiple times, but she's alive and she's well. You know,
Right. Yeah.
it's funny. This is happening in 1708. The prediction finally came true though 7 years later, without Partridge ever finding out that the real identity of this person who claimed he died was Isaac Bickerstaff. So
Mm.
next, this may not be the best prank to pull on your boyfriend. Um, I'm gonna say don't ever do this. I've actually thought about doing this myself. I've never
Mhm.
done this. So for April Fool's Day 2013, 18-year-old Tori Wheeler of Tulsa, Oklahoma, pranked her boyfriend Derek Bear by pretending she was pregnant.
Mm.
Wheeler, upset that Bear didn't find her prank as funny as she'd hoped, ending up pulling a knife on him and the police were called in to settle the matter. Predictably, Wheeler later said the knife was yet another prank. Don't prank with knives. I say that in the article said that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't prep your knives either. Like that's really unsafe, or a safety issue. So like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Here's another one. So April Fool's prank gone wrong. In 2016, Google, as an April Fool's prank, I think we might have talked about this too,
Hmm.
added a mic drop button to its email program. When clicked, it sent a GIF to the recipients of the outgoing email. And here's the kicker, literally disabled replies, in effect shutting down the conversation as mic drops do.
Hmm.
That's kind of funny. But the big problem was that the mic drop button was right next to the send button, leading a
Hmm.
number of hapless and later horrified people to mic drop their bosses. I want to mic drop my boss. That'd be great. Mic
Hmm.
drop their bosses, clients, spouses, children, friends, and family. I can't
Hmm.
imagine mic dropping your client. Oh my God. Um, That's amazing. Although Google disabled the button, the damage was done. It was far from being a good office prank, since at least one individual reported getting canned thanks to Google's jest. I mean, that's amazing. That's
Hmm.
that's great. Not great, but I think it's funny. Okay, another one. So for April Fool's Day in 1980, Boston TV news producer Homer Seeley, it actually rhymes with silly, produced a television broadcast about a hill in Milton, Massachusetts that had begun oozing lava and spewing flames. I don't think Massachusetts has any volcanoes. I'm just throwing that out there. Um, so he included fake warnings from then President Jimmy Carter and real footage from Mount St. Helens eruptions that implied the Massachusetts volcano had fully erupted. Again,
Mm.
I don't think Mount St. Helens is in Massachusetts. Just throwing that out there as well. Um, so April Fool read the card at the end of the segment, but hundreds of panicked citizens flooded law enforcement phone lines anyway. Silly was promptly fired for failing to exercise good news judgment and breaching FCC regulations. There's one prank I want to talk about really quickly that I actually heard on a podcast. So I'll say that podcast was um, the podcast on the left.
Mhm.
That's the podcast that I heard this from, and I thought it was hilarious. It killed me. So they're telling the story of a woman who um sorry, it's the last podcast on the left, sorry. Got that wrong.
Mhm.
But anyways,
Mhm. Mhm.
they were talking about this story of a woman who ended up suing her employer. She worked for Hooters, um, because they said, okay, if you can um sell the most amount of beer, we're going to give that person a Toyota, like a
Mhm.
Toyota car. So she's like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell the most beers. And she works really hard during her shift and she does exactly that. She sells the the most beer that night. So when it came time to give her her prize, which again is supposed to be a Toyota,
Mhm.
they go outside, they blindfolded her and everything, like it's gonna be a big deal.
Mhm.
Take the blindfold off of her. There is no Toyota. They hand her a toy Yoda.
Oh wow,
She quit and she sues. I don't remember if she won, but I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, of course they're going to give her like a toy car or something. No, they gave her a toy Yoda. I thought that was incredible.
that's crazy.
It's funny. My girl put the work in. She's selling all
Mhm.
of these beers.
Mhm.
And again, this is a waitress in Hooters, so imagine she has to deal with. And then she doesn't even get her Toyota. Come on. It's ridiculous, but I thought it was so funny. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Just like, be careful how you prank people or be careful how you prank your friends. You just might, hurt that special someone. Um, yeah, just be careful. Um, yeah. So, this ends this special episode of the Next Tape Podcast. The Next Tape Podcast is available on all podcast platforms. We also have a website called Tanyka.
Next take podcast.podpage.io.
We also are available, Tanyka.
Facebook and Instagram are Next Take Podcast, and Twitter and TikTok and Blue Sky. I need to remember Blue Sky
All right.
at Next Take Pod.
All right. You can contact us on email at mikeltanika@gmail.com. That is mikeltanika@gmail.com. So we talked about just briefly about April Fools, anything about pranks, etc. That's around April Fools. Yeah, that's pretty much about it with this episode. Anything else you want to say, Tanika, before we just head out?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So I am Mikel, and
And I'm Tanyka.
we're out until
Next week.
next week. Peace, guys.
Bye.